Hey family, I was just watching this movie called American Gospel, Christ Alone. It's a great movie. It was about how a lot of churches in America have gotten away from the true gospel, and how preachers, in order to be relevant, in order to be crowd pleasers and say what the people want to hear, they twist the gospel or say something out of context so it can fit what they are intending instead of what God was actually intending to say. And people are just flocking to them because they're great speakers, but they're getting this watered down gospel, so there's no truth and growth, because the power is not in the preacher, the power is in the actual gospel message itself. And just like today, the Corinthians almost 2,000 years ago weren't much different. The Corinthians were a Greek culture that loved wisdom. They loved eloquent speakers and people that could talk and motivate the crowds, and that's what they lived for. And so Paul addresses this very clearly in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 17. He says, "For Christ did not send me to baptize, but to preach the gospel." Now, let me just make a side note. He's not saying baptism is bad, but he's telling them that his main thing is to preach the gospel. And it says, "And not with words of eloquent wisdom, lest the cross of Christ be emptied of his power." You see, Paul wasn't this eloquent speaker. He knew the word, but most of all, he knew the power in the cross. He knew the power of the gospel. And he knew, no matter what, I can make it sound like this, sound like that, but it's not going to have the same power as if I just talk about Christ crucified and Christ alone. Not in my human strength, not in my human wisdom, not in how I can get motivated to do all these things, but that Christ can do it through me, and that it's all about Jesus. So let me encourage you this. One, read the Bible for yourself. Don't ever stop reading the Bible for yourself. Learn it. Not what you want to hear, but what the text actually says. Two, don't just go to a church because you love the pastor speaking. What happens if that pastor's there? You get mad. Oh, they got a guest speaker today. I'm out of here. Did you really come for the gospel? Or did you really hear just to hear somebody preach? Remember, if it's about man, it's not about nothing. But if it's all about Jesus, then you're on the right track. That's the true gospel. Jesus is the gospel. All right, family. You guys have a blessed day.